Hey fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're heading into the bustling energy of Sao Paulo, Brazil. From navigating the city and that traffic, cultural etiquette, food musts, and common surprises will help you travel smarter in this South American megacity. And here we go with 100-ish hours of Sao Paulo. Now, the first don't of Sao Paulo is don't expect to get anywhere quickly, okay? Sao Paulo is huge. Between 14 and 25 million people live in the city or the metro area, depending on who you talk to. And those people are going. Like 7 million cars in the city. And it really takes a long time to get anywhere. So if you're going to be going to the airport to fly out, don't think, oh, well, Google says it takes 45 minutes. I'm like, Google says it's 45 minutes from downtown to the airport? You're crazy, okay? Just know, getting anywhere will take a lot of time because of all the people, all the traffic, and all these kind of things. So that's the first thing. Don't expect to get anywhere quickly. Now, the second don't we have about going to Sao Paulo is don't miss the Mercado Municipal. Go to the municipal market when you are there. It's this beautiful building you go to. When you go inside, they have all the stalls with meats and fruits and vegetables and spices, and there's restaurants and all kinds of really cool places to go in there and experiment. And for a foreigner coming to Brazil, this is your chance to learn about and see and taste all these amazing fruits and stuff like that when you're there. And the people there are fantastic, and they're like, take you here, don't come here. And they'll cut the fruit up, try this, try this. This one guy, he's like, oh, have a natural strawberry, chocolate-covered strawberry. He took a date, cut it in half, put a strawberry, and it says try. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. He's like, try this fruit. I'm like, what, do I bite the fruit? Do they cut it open? Do I eat the seed? Do I eat the outside, the inside? I don't know. And they teach you all these things. And it's not just, oh, these are fruits that I don't know the name of. In terms of translation, these are fruits I've never seen in my entire life. And you have those things there, and it's such an amazing experience for anybody to go there. Every time I go down to downtown Sao Paulo, I always wanted to go there. I actually used to live in Sao Paulo, so I love the place. The place is so much fun, like the city in general. And Mercado Municipal is so cool. But when you go there, don't forget to eat the mortadella sandwich or the bologna sandwich. Now you're thinking, bologna? Why would I want bologna? It's like, no, go and have a real mortadella bologna sandwich in the Mercado Municipal. It's a must when you are there, so don't forget to do that. Now, my third don't I have is don't be afraid to eat non-Brazilian food in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is a mixing pot of all of Brazil. You can have amazing Italian food, Lebanese food, Japanese food. There's a million Japanese people in Sao Paulo, and you have these amazing mixtures of flavors and cultures in Sao Paulo. It's such a great kind of melting pot of Brazil that you really should eat more than just Brazilian food when you are there. Now, what's cool, though, is if you want to try any kind of Brazilian food from the north, south, east, west, wherever, that's the place you go. Sao Paulo is where you can try all the different cuisines from all over Brazil. So don't be afraid to experiment with food when you are there, because it is something you gotta do. Now, my fourth don't of going to Sao Paulo is don't forget to keep your wits about you, meaning don't forget to be paying attention. When you go to Sao Paulo, you're gonna see people are dressed up more. It's more of an urban jungle than a rainforest jungle kind of thing. And you go there and you expect, oh, maybe it's gonna be different. No, you've gotta pay attention with your watches and your wallets and things like that. When you're driving there, don't drive there. It's scary when you're driving with all the things moving in, and the guys, when you park, like, oh, I helped you find your spot, you got to pay me, or your car's going to get hurt, or stuff like that. Look, you got to keep your wits about you. When you're on the metro and you're going through rush hour traffic, it can be scary with how many people are on there. And there's people that you might not even realize are trying to pickpocket you. We were downtown. Literally, we just got to the Jureia today. We were in Sao Paulo yesterday, and people, I could feel them like trying to grab my wallets. Well, I had everything in the front with my stuff here, making sure I was covered. You got to keep your wits about you there. So don't kind of let your guard down when you are there. Now, the fifth don't I have for you is don't expect a beach. Yes, I know there's a beach behind me, but Sao Paulo is like 4 hours away. Look, Sao Paulo is not the Brazil you see in the postcards and on the tourism things and all these things. That's Rio, that's Bahia, where you got the beaches and the colorful culture kind of things and the animals and the rainforest and all that stuff. That is not Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is culture. It's shopping, the best shopping in all of South America. It's eating, like I said before. The museums there, the Museum of Modern Art is totally cool. The Pinoteca do Estado, it's a great place for Brazilian art. The MASP, which is really cool, it's the museum that's above ground. You'll see that there. That's something cool you really should go see if you want to get like your European art, and there's a Brazilian art there as well. There's actually a place in downtown right across from MASP is the old Mato, the forest, or it's not a rainforest, like tropical rainforest, the Atlantic forest that was what Sao Paulo was before Sao Paulo was there. They actually have that in this city, and there's tons of cultural centers there. I've seen some great exhibits on dinosaurs and different artists, and that's what's so cool is don't expect a beach, but do expect a lot of cultural excitement. So go there and experience it, okay? So when you are here, yes, I know it's not the Brazil you're thinking of with the beaches, but it does have a lot to offer. Oh, and I guess I'll give you like a sixth don't forget to update the Uber app when you come to Sao Paulo, because taxis can be a bit crazy, but if you got Uber, they work really well in Sao Paulo. Even the locals are all saying, hey, do you guys have that Uber thing in America? I'm like, yes, we have Uber in America. Oh, good, because here it's really great. So make sure you use that. Look, no matter where you are, no matter where you're coming from, you will be underestimating the traffic here in Sao Paulo. O trânsito é um desastre. The traffic is a disaster here. No matter where you go, it'll take you an hour to an hour and a half. It doesn't matter if it's close or far away. No, it's going to take an hour to an hour and a half because the traffic is insane. It is so full all the time that you think, oh, it's just right down the way, and then you get stuck in traffic again and again and again. Honestly, we've lost hours every day in Sao Paulo just stuck in traffic, okay? So don't underestimate that. And that means if you got to go catch your plane at Guarulhos or Congonhas, you need to factor that in. Don't be like, oh, well, Google says it's only this far. Use Waze, by the way, because that has the traffic and it'll show you how bad it can be because, oh, man, the traffic here is just one of those things that'll drive you nuts, all right? I just wanted to get you that out of the way first. Now, another thing I think tourists kind of miss out when they come here is actually some of the museums and cultural sites you could enjoy when you're here because honestly, this is like the museum capital of Brazil. So they have some really great museum. MASP, the Museum of Art of Sao Paulo. It's this cool building that you go up into right on Avenida Paulista and you can go there. Fantastic collection of art. The Contemporary Art Museum is wonderful to see as well. There's a futebol, a soccer museum you could go to here and learn about it. You could do tours of some of the stadiums and Sao Paulo FC, O Tricolore, you can go visit that stadium too and see that. But there's all kinds of great kind of cultural things you can do when you're here. For example, one of my favorite museums, they've recently redone it, is the Immigration Museum. Because what you have to realize is Brazil is a country of immigration, but Sao Paulo is really a city of immigration, like really big time. And so they have a fantastic museum that talks about all the immigration that came here to Brazil from Italy, from Portugal, from the Confederacy in the U.S. Yes, there was Confederates that came down here after the Civil War in the U.S. I mean, it's such a great collection of memorabilia, historic items, but stories as well. And if you want to see some green space, you can go to the Ibirapuera Park. And in there's some nice buildings and monuments that are there. The Bandeiras monuments there. That's the obelisk. We have all the very stately looking guys standing up there. That's actually a really important site here in Sao Paulo to visit. So that's something you can do. I mean, there's the Mercado Municipal, the city market you can go to, which is always fun. You've got the Teatro Municipal, the theater here. There's a lot of really cool cultural sites to see. And a lot of people don't think about that because they think of Brazil as, oh, it's just beaches and sun, and they don't think about all the other cultural things that can be here. I mean, you can see the cathedral. You can go visit there. If you want to go out of town a little bit, Imbu is like, it has all these artists that are there you can go to, and it's like artists that are there, but also you can get like great food when you're there too. So it's really kind of a fun outdoorsy kind of thing when you go to Imbu. My mom loved it when I was there. I took her there a couple times when we lived here, but it's a fun place to be. But there's a lot of these museums and cultural things you can do when you're here in Sao Paulo that people don't really kind of think of. And that's why it leads into my next mistake that tourists make when they come to Sao Paulo is they think that Sao Paulo is a beach tourist destination. There is no beach. Well, there's the rivers, but you don't want to be in the rivers. You don't want to go on the rivers. No way. This is not a beach place. You are not bringing your thongs and, you're not bringing your swimsuit to go to the beach here. I mean, you can go to the pool at the hotel, but yeah, this is not a beach place. There's no beach here. Like, this is not Rio. This is not Recife. This is Sao Paulo. This is a working city. So it's got great shopping. It's got great, theaters. It's got great entertainment. It's got great food. But no, don't think this is going to be a beach place to be here. And honestly, as someone that travels a lot, and I love Sao Paulo because I lived here, and that's the key thing. I lived here. So living, working, eating, shopping here is great. But as a tourist, I actually don't even have Sao Paulo in my top 10 places to visit in Brazil list. Though you probably will be here because you'll probably fly into Guarulhos because that's where a lot of the international flights fly into. Now that we got those big mistakes out of the way, I think another mistake, kind of set of mistakes I got to talk about, is about the mistakes people make about the food here in Sao Paulo. Because Sao Paulo is a city of immigration, you have great food from all over the world. Japanese food, Lebanese food, yes, Brazilian food that's here as well, from all over Brazil and the people who've come. I mean, honestly, if you're looking at major cities around the world that have great restaurant scenes, yes, London, New York, Sao Paulo is one of those cities as well that you need great international cuisine. I highly recommend Japanese and Lebanese food. They're near the top. Their Italian food here, they have good Italian food, but it's definitely a Brazilian-Italian mix when you go have it. So don't be afraid to not eat Brazilian food, but have some of the international fare here as well. This is where I fell in love with Lebanese food. Oh my God, it's so good. So you can get some, grab some. Now, my next mistake, it also kind of relates to food, is the people that don't try all the different fruits they offer you when you go to the Mercado Municipal. Honestly, the most fun you're going to have when you come here to Sao Paulo is going to the Mercado Municipal, the city market, and they have stall after stall after food. And people are like, oh, try this, try this. They'll cut it up and give you some. Go ahead, get some here, try it. Even if you don't buy some, like, oh, just try it, it's good. I mean, you'll have fruit you've never seen before. You have fruit, you're like, that looks like a grape and a peanut had a baby. Yeah, it's the peanut grape. You're like, what? I mean, it's so many great things. My favorite one, well, actually, Jocelyn's favorite, and I love this one too, is the natural chocolate-covered strawberry. What it is, it's a date and a strawberry together. Oh, it's so good. But the thing you have to eat when you're there, and you're making a mistake if you don't eat it when you go to the Mercado Municipal, is having a mortadella sandwich. Basically a sliced bologna sandwich, heated up. Oh my God, it's so good. And I mean, I know it sounds silly, like mortadella bologna. What's the big deal? No. You have to have it when you're there. That is a big thing. There'll be some shops there that sell that. And what's cool is you have like the ground floor has all the little kiosk kind of thing. And then upstairs there's some restaurants. So you can get a pastel or you can get some of the salgados, the like savory treats that are there too. So you'll be good, but don't miss out on that. That would be a big mistake. Now, I know I spent all that time talking about the international fair and I mentioned the Brazilian fair, but also I think this is another mistake. If you don't get a chance to go around all of Brazil, you're making a mistake by not trying a lot of different Brazilian foods when you're here in Sao Paulo, because people have immigrated from all over the country to live here because, again, this is the best place for work, shopping, eating, going out. So it's drawn in a lot of people and they've brought their food. So you can get really good vatapá or acarajé, the rodízios here, the meat places. Yes, you can get the picanha meats here. They're all over. But yeah, don't miss out on the Brazilian food either, because I think that's a mistake. So do explore a lot of the other different types of Brazilian food you can have here in Sao Paulo. Then my next mistake I see tourists make is they come to Sao Paulo and they bring just their usual Brazilian tourist gear. You know, flip-flops, Bermuda shorts, and a t-shirt. Yeah, you can do that, but I think you should know if you're coming to Sao Paulo, they dress up a bit more here when they go out. Like, not like super go out, but it's a little bit higher, a little more elevated here. So like if you're going out to the clubs, they have some great clubs here, and you're dressed in flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt, you might not get in. Some restaurants might not let you in if you look like garbage, okay? So you gotta maybe pack just like a nice shirt with a collar or something when you're coming here, or have that nice sundress or whatever when you're gonna go out, just so, or a fun party dress. Have something, because honestly, this is the nicest dressed city in the entire country. And if you don't have anything, don't worry about it, because another mistake people make is they skip out on shopping in Sao Paulo. Look, if Brazilians want to buy something in Brazil, they go to Sao Paulo. Because if it's not in Sao Paulo, it is not in Brazil, okay? So you have great places to shop in here. There's tons of fantastic malls, from high-end stuff to more fun, like everyday mall stuff you see around the world. You go to Avenida Paulista and go to some of the shops there. I mean, there's a lot of really cool neighborhoods you can shop in as well. So you have plenty of opportunities for shopping. I know that's one thing Jocelyn and my sister-in-law, well, he's my exchange student brother, his wife Anita, they're going shopping this afternoon. It's been one of Jocelyn. She's like, oh, we're going shopping with Anita in Sao Paulo. I mean, because you could do some really cool shopping. And what's great is in Brazil, they have all sizes. So even I can find cool clothes here. Now, if you're going to go shopping, look, you can pay with credit card pretty much everywhere when you're here, okay? Just have a heads up for that. That's not a problem. But also, sometimes you want to have cash. And I think a mistake people make here in Sao Paulo is they'll take out cash from an ATM that's not inside a bank. Look, if you're going to get cash, you're going to need cash. Go inside the bank and take your money out there. So maybe you need to go during the day because maybe the bank's closed at night. You want to do that. You don't want to do your ATMs outside. You want to do the ATMs inside the bank because there is a safety issue you have to think about. A technological mistake I see tourists make is not downloading two specific apps. One is Uber.
Look, Uber is a thing here in Sao Paulo. You want to have that to trace your car where you are. It makes things a lot easier. The people in Sao Paulo love Uber, like love Uber. I mean, I've had them ask me, hey, do you guys have Uber in the US? I'm like, yeah, we do. It's like, oh, it's great. I'm like, yeah, okay, so you want to have that to get around because the taxis don't have the best reputation here. And the second app you want to download is WhatsApp. The WhatsApp, it's popular all over the world, but from the US, you might not have heard of it. It's basically you can call and text with it, and it's based off your number. You'll see stores that'll just have WhatsApp numbers or text numbers, or your Uber driver will just WhatsApp you. So have those two apps, Uber and WhatsApp. Those are two things you have to download before you come to Sao Paulo. Now, as a traveler, we're going to be probably flying into Sao Paulo, and I think we're flying out. And this is one thing I want to make everyone well aware. It's a mistake that tourists make and they miss their flights for, and that is thinking it'll be quick to get to, check in, and go through security at Guarulhos. GRU, the international airport, it takes time. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. When they say be there 3 hours early, be there 3 hours early. This isn't one of those show up last minute kind of places, because sometimes the lines can be insane. Sometimes it's not bad. But I've flown enough times out of Guarulhos that, yeah, I'm like, yeah, we can be there 3 hours early or a bit more, just because, I get a little worried with that. And going along with the airport thing, another mistake people make is they don't realize it's actually two main airports here in Sao Paulo. Yeah, Guarulhos, GRU, which is the big one that's for international flights. So you'd be flying in from the US or Spain or Portugal, you'll fly into there. And then you have Congonhas. And Congonhas Airport is for domestic flights. So let's say you're staying in Sao Paulo for a bit, you want to fly to Rio, or you want to fly to see the Iguazu Falls, or you want to fly up to Manaus to go see the Amazon. That flight will probably be from Congonhas, okay? And that one's in town, like in the city, so it's a little bit faster to get to. Let's just put it faster to get to. So when you're thinking about Guarulhos and Congonhas, you're trying to figure out how you're going to get there. And you might think, oh, we'll drive out, though, we'll rent a car, we'll drive around town. That is a mistake. You never want to drive in Sao Paulo if you don't have to. That's why they have all the Ubers that'll take care of you. I know I mentioned how crazy the traffic is, because it is totally crazy, but I just want to reemphasize that parking is not a fun thing, and driving is not a fun thing in Sao Paulo. And a mistake that when people do rent a car and they do drive around, the mistake they have is they don't have like small bills to pay the parking guys. Now, I'm not talking about the official parking attendants. I'm talking about the guys that'll walk up and down the street with a car and say, hey, how about a couple of reals to make sure your car's okay? And you better give them money, because here's the thing. If you give them money, there's no guarantee that actually something will happen to your car. But if you don't give them money, there's definitely a better chance that something bad will happen to your car. Okay, so have a couple reals, 2 to 5 reals, just to give to those parking guys that are walking around. I mean, they'll probably charge you more if you're like in a better parking area, but just be aware of that, because that's one mistake I've seen. People get really pissed off when their rental car has a broken window or a scratch or something like that. So just have that money for those parking people, all right? And if you don't want to drive around town, which I don't recommend you do, another mistake I see people make is they don't use the metro. I mean, the metro in Sao Paulo goes a lot of places. Now, it doesn't go everywhere. It's not perfect for tourists, but honestly, public transportation like the metro and the buses can be helpful. You do need to pay attention, especially on the buses, and well, actually on the metro too. But it is something that can help. There's actually a train that will go out to Guarulhos Airport that might make your life easier when you're staying here. And speaking of staying, I think another mistake people make is they don't stay in the center. Look, you want to stay by Avenida Paulista, you want to stay in Jardins, you want to stay down in that area, because honestly, staying in like Alphaville, which is a really nice place to be, it's so far from town that you're going to lose a lot of time going to the cathedral, going to the MASP, going to the Teatro Municipal, the Mercado Municipal as well. You're going to lose so much time. It's better to stay in the center, even if you have some like nice options outside. It's just a mistake for a time sense. And no matter where you're staying or where you're going, I think another important mistake tourists need to realize they shouldn't make is throwing toilet paper down the toilet. Not every toilet in Sao Paulo can actually accept toilet paper, let's say. So you might notice there's a bin next to the toilet seat, and there's a bin next to the toilet seat. That's probably where you need to put your toilet paper. Yes, I know it's gross, but you know what? That's the way it is. So just be aware of it, because you really don't want the pipes like coming back at you, because yuck. Now, moving on from that, let's talk about a food related topic. And this is consumption cards. The mistake I see people make is they don't take their consumption card serious. And if you're not sure what a consumption card is, let's say you go out to a club, or sometimes you go to a cafeteria, they'll give you a card when you come in. And what you'll do is you'll pay for everything with that card, and then you only pay at the end of the night when you leave the club. You give them your consumption card, and then you pay there with your credit card or whatever. And the thing is, if you lose that consumption card, it can be a huge problem and cost you a lot of money, okay? So don't make the mistake of losing that consumption card, because honestly, I've seen some people get into fights about it, and if you're at a club and like, oh, I lost, I don't know, they're like, there's an ATM right there. You need to pay the like $200, $300 fee for not having it, okay? So it can be a thing. And don't think by saying you lost, you don't know where it is, that they're gonna let you get out of it, because they'll be like, oh, look, there's an ATM right there. We take credit cards, whatever works best for you, sir. So do not lose that consumption card, because that can be a little bit of a safety thing sometimes you feel when you do, if you do lose it, okay? Now, speaking of safety, I think that's another mistake people make. What you have to realize is Sao Paulo is a mega city. And a mega city has mega city problems, just like city problems, but mega city problems. So you do need to take extra care when you're going around. I knew so many tourists when I lived here that would literally come and they'd like wear fancy jewelry and fancy clothes all the time, and they would get robbed. Like they would get robbed like on a bus or on the street. I mean, it happened. And the thing is, they would keep the next day, they'd be back out with rings. I'm like, no. Don't wear your rings. Don't wear those fancy clothes when you're going out during the day and you're going to see your sightseeing. If you're going to go to a club, yes, that's when you're going to dress up. Or you go to a restaurant, then you dress up for that. But going around and sightseeing, you don't want to wear the bling. You don't want to wear fancy stuff. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You know, I'm filming this in the Alphaville part of town because it's a lot more chillax area. I'm not worried about things because honestly, you like in the evening times or in the late afternoon times, you don't want to walk alone in some places. And there are parts of Sao Paulo you don't go to. And here's the thing. As a tourist, the bad parts of Sao Paulo, you're not going to go to anyway. So it's not that big of an issue. But honestly, you do need to pay attention. Like if you're by the cathedral, where some of those sites are, pay extra attention, okay? And that's why I recommend, take an Uber instead of a taxi because those things can be tracked. Subways, make sure you're paying attention. All the subway rules around the world, use them here as well, all right? So don't make the mistake of not taking your safety seriously when you are here. Now, don't let it keep you from coming here, but it's just something you just need to be aware of when you're here. And then I want to finish with this most important, most impactful, most life-changing mistake that tourists could make when they come here. And that mistake is not cheering for Sao Paulo FC. Sao Paulo, Tricolore, the best soccer team, the best football team in Sao Paulo. Because honestly, if you meet someone that, cheers for Corinthians or Palmeiras, you shouldn't let your kids date those people because they obviously have problems. Because only true people from Sao Paulo, they cheer for Sao Paulo, Tricolore. So remember that when you come here. Maybe take in a game when you do come to Sao Paulo.
And the first thing that's going to shock you is how huge this city is. I mean, it is enormous. There's 25 million people here. There's people all around you all the time. The subway and rush hour is crazy. And that's the first thing that shocks people, just how busy and how go this place is. Just the size, the sheer size of it all can be a bit much. So just be ready for that. So that might shock you, okay? Now, the second thing that's going to shock you when you come here is people take their futebol, their soccer, their football very seriously. And they have 3 world-class teams here. You got Sao Paulo, Tricolore, you got Palmeiras, and you got Corinthians. And people really do, it is their religion. Yes, I know they say Catholicism or evangelical stuff here in Brazil, but look, here, there's 3 religions. You got Sao Paulo, you got Corinthians, or you've got Palmeiras. That's what people really cheer for. So don't make too many jokes about the soccer teams. And on game days, if you're a tourist, don't wear a jersey. Other days you'll be fine, but on game day, maybe best not to do too much. The third thing that's going to shock you about Sao Paulo is that actually they have fancied up the mortadella sandwich, or they fancied up bologna. Going to the Mercado Municipal is one of the best experiences you can have here, and it's shocking how friendly and outgoing the people are there. They'll be giving you, here, try this fruit, try fruit you've never heard of. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. They're just tried, have natural chocolate strawberries where it's figs and strawberries together. I mean, it is fantastic, and you'll be shocked how fun it is there. But the funniest thing is, you'll be shocked is how they really do make a bologna sandwich actually quite fancy. Now, the fourth thing that's going to shock you when you come here is the traffic. Remember, the first thing is how big this thing is. With those 25 million people, they're driving around, and the traffic here is insane. Be ready for white knuckle taxi rides where you're weaving in between big trucks and bulldozers and the moto boys, the guys on the motorcycles flying by and knocking the side mirrors off your car. Why not? It is crazy, okay? And that will shock you, is that traffic that goes by, because it can be a bit much. And that leads into the fifth thing that's going to shock you is the dudes that want you to pay because you parked. And you'll see that if you're going to be driving around, or if you're coming with some locals to park, you'll see these guys say, oh, come over here. I got a spot right here for you. And you get out and you got to pay these guys a few reais. And the thing is, you're like, why do I need to pay the guy? It's free parking, or I pay at the meter. It doesn't matter. You got to pay these guys. Otherwise, something bad might happen to your car. I'm just saying, so be ready for that one, okay? Now, the sixth thing that's going to shock you when you come here is the fact that you're going to get sushi with your steak. When you go to the rodizio, you know, the Brazilian meat places, they cut the meat off, they bring it all around. They'll actually have sushi things there as well, because there's a million people with Japanese ancestry here in Sao Paulo. You want Lebanese food? They have some of the best Lebanese food in the world. Italian food, they got some of the best Italian food in the world. And that's what's cool about here. Is you're gonna be shocked is how like many cultures are here, because this really is the melting pot of Brazil, and you're gonna have that great influences all around. So you're gonna see people from all kinds of ethnicities here, all kinds of nationalities, and it's really cool. If you're shocked, because wow, I'm gonna have the best Lebanese food of my life. Well, yeah, because there's more Lebanese people here than anywhere else. And it is just really kind of a cool thing here, and it is kind of shocking how much great international flair you do have here. So make sure you check out the Immigration Museum here in Sao Paulo, so you can learn about the immigration from people coming from all over Europe and all over the world here. It is really kind of a cool thing. The seventh thing that might shock you when you come here is they actually have a snake research park you can go to and see all kinds of crazy snakes here that, yes, could probably kill you and would actually kill you if they could, you know. But also that's where they actually figure out the anti-venoms and stuff. It is kind of a cool kind of place to stop at and see if you are here. And that's one of those kind of, oh my God, there's a snake park. Yes, there is. And you can go check it out. And my mom literally was about to have a heart attack when we even mentioned the place. So she obviously did not go last time we were here, okay? The eighth thing that shocks tourists when they come here is there's no beach in Sao Paulo. When people think of Brazil, they think of more like Rio and Bahia and the Northeast, where there's sun and beach and outside and the bikinis and all those kind of things. Look, Sao Paulo is not a beach town. Sao Paulo is a culture town. There's tons of museums, the MASP. You got to go there. If you want your impressionist European art and famous Brazilian art, they have that there. If you want to go see, oh, if you want to see some of the Atlantic rainforest, they actually have it across the street. You can go see that. There's all kinds of great cultural centers here, all kinds of great museums. Like I said, the Immigration Museum, the Futebol Museum, the Football Museum, the Soccer Museum here. That's what shocks people is, no, it's not a beach place, Brazil here. It's a culture place, which is really cool, okay? So the food and the eating and the shopping and the museums and the culture, really kind of cool. And the business that really goes on here, because this is the business center, the business heart of Brazil. Now, the ninth thing that's going to shock you when you come here is the crime in Brazil. No, I'm not just talking about government bureaucracy and government, corruption and stuff like that. I'm talking about actual crime. You really need to be careful when you do come here. Notice I'm not wearing my wedding ring or a fancy watch and stuff like that. You really need to pay attention when you are here. Don't leave stuff in your car. Don't walk around with lots of bling on. Look, here in Sao Paulo, people do dress better than other parts of Brazil, but you do got to be careful, because you will be shocked how much crime does come here. We've heard stories of people in their cars driving around. They're stuck in traffic, and one of the motor boys come by, smashes the back window, takes their briefcase out of the back seat and go. So just be careful, because there is crime that is here. I mean, don't be crazy, but you really need to pay attention with your watch, wallet, and all those things. So don't dress too much up. But we've got videos on how to be safe when you are here in Brazil. And the 10th thing you're going to love about coming to Sao Paulo are the people. The Paulistanos are awesome. They will give you the shirt off their back. They will show you a great time. They'll take you to these great restaurants, take you to the Mercado Municipal. They're going to do all kinds of great stuff with you, and they really are passionate about their city and showing the city and loving the city. And that's one of the cool things about having such a huge, amazing world city, that the people are so cool and so much fun. So if you do get a chance, get to Sao Paulo. Is it the best, greatest, awesomest place for a tourist? Maybe not, but it's worth coming to see. It's just because of all the stuff that is here, with the culture, the shopping, the eating, and all kinds of stuff, and the people. This is one of those cities you can really enjoy, and that's why instead of starting to talk about some of the Brazilian, really Sao Paulo things, I got to talk about the international nature of the food here in Sao Paulo, because you can have incredible Italian food when you are here, from the pizzas to the pastas, but you got to realize when you have that when you're here, they do put a little Sao Paulo Brazilian twist on things. So do watch for that when you're ordering your pizzas and your pastas. There might be a little bit something different there, but it's really good. Another international cuisine that's fantastic here is Lebanese food. If you've never had Lebanese food, find one of the Lebanese restaurants when you're here and go eat that, because you have a lot of options with that one. And then I think the third big one I'd want to mention is actually Japanese food, because Sao Paulo has a huge number of Japanese immigrants and families with Japanese heritage here in the city. And so you have fantastic Japanese restaurants all over the city. And it's not just sushi, it's the meats and all the other things that are there. You can have some really great Japanese food, and it's quite trendy these days with the Japanese restaurants. Okay, so I want you to understand that there's a lot of international stuff you can have here if you're getting tired of your Brazilian fare. All right, because
honestly, because the city is a city of immigrants, not just from outside of Brazil, but inside of Brazil, here in Sao Paulo, you can get a lot of the really great Brazilian foods that you don't traditionally get outside of the regions they're at. If you really want good from Minas Gerais, which for me is the best food, you can find restaurants that are from Minas Gerais here. You want Bahian food? Yes. You want to have moqueca? Yes, you can have moqueca de camarão here, which is the seafood stew with the shrimp. You can have that. If you want to find people that make acarajé, the Bahian, like, looks like a potato, but it's actually made out of bean stuff with a vatapá, which is kind of their version of a shrimp stuffing and dried shrimp. You can find that here too. So you have a lot of options when you're here in Sao Paulo. But if you want to eat the things that are truly Paulista, some things that, you know, are truly from Sao Paulo, one thing you have to do is you have to go to the Mercado Municipal. So the Mercado Municipal is the city market, and it's an indoor market. You go there. The ground floor has all of these fantastic little shops and stalls that have all kinds of great fresh fruit, spices, things you can try. And what's great, when you walk through, they see you're a tourist, or if you're not, they're like, oh, hey, you want to try this? You want to try this? You'll have fruit you've never had before. So literally, you can almost fill up on the free fruit they give you, like grapes. You never realize that grapes and peanuts might have had a baby at some time. You know, I mean, it's crazy how much fun food you have when you're there. So that's the thing to have. But one thing you need to have when you do go there, because there's also some restaurants there too if you want to get some, you know, Brazilian snacks. But one thing you got to have is a mortadella sandwich, a bologna sandwich. And I'm not talking your Oscar Mayer slice and 2 pieces of white bread. No. We got a big old pão francês, like a big old, like, soft roll. And then they'll put tons and tons of slices of mortadella bologna on there. And then you have some cheese on there. They heat it up. You have some mustard with it. Oh, it is so good. It is so good. You have to have that when you're at the Mercado Municipal. That's one thing that really is a Sao Paulo treat that you should have.
It's mortadella. Really doesn't look like mortadella, but it kind of doesn't taste like it. Mortadella, by the way, is bologna. But this is huge, and it's tasty, but it's not very ladylike.
Now, another sandwich you should have when you're in Sao Paulo is bauru. And bauru it's got that pão francês, which is like a big, like, white bread roll. They cut it in half. You put in there, it's got roast beef, tomato, pickles, mozzarella cheese, salt, oregano, and it's a very filling sandwich. So that's another kind of quickie you can have. Now, if you want a true, like, I want to gorge myself until I explode experience that's truly Paulista, you can have a virado a Paulista. And virado a Paulista is kind of a little bit of everything. It's got a pork chop, it's got some fried sausages, it's got a soft, like, sunny side up kind of egg on it, it's got rice, it's got kale or couve, you'll see. There's beans that are cooked with sauteed onions and garlic, and then on top of the virado paulista, you have farofa, and it's manioc flour or cassava flour. You'll see it a lot of places here in Brazil, but my God, it is so filling. Like, you have that, you're done. It's like if you have a good feijoada when you're in Brazil, and we have a video on the good foods of Brazil you should have that'll help you know what Brazilian food to have. You're just like, that's the only thing you need to eat for like the month. It is so filling because it's so much with the sausage, the pork chop, the egg, like everything there. So that's one thing you should have. The one thing that Sao Paulo is really good at is going out and having a nice ice cold beer, a shopping. And so you can go get some, you know, get some beers with some buddies, and you'll get some salgados. These are more like, these are throughout Brazil, but you can always get your pão de queijo, your little cheese balls you can have that's made with tapioca flour. So if you're gluten-free, you can have those. Coxinha de frango, which is shredded chicken with some spices, and catupiry, which is kind of like a cream cheese, I guess you'd say, in kind of a potato dough, and then they fry it. Oh my God, it's so good with some hot sauce. There's a lot of like snacks you can have when you're here. And the thing is, if you're coming to Sao Paulo, you have so many options for food. They have really good rodízios here. You know, the Brazilian steakhouse, you know, back home. Yeah, you could come here and have that for a lot less than Texas do Brazil, okay? Back home in the US. But honestly, Sao Paulo is such a good eating city. I mean, I tell people, this is not a really tourist city. This is a eating, shopping, working city. So if you want to come and eat well, Sao Paulo is probably your best place because you can really try stuff from all over Brazil and all over the world and really love it. One, I always want to tell people, when they come here, I want you to say good luck. Have a good time when you're here and have good luck. And the fist with your thumbs sticking out, that is a good luck sign here. I know in the US you cross your fingers. No, here you give them the little fist with the finger coming out. That's the good luck sign when you are here, all right? Now, another thing, you want to say something's good, you give them the thumbs up. Thumbs up is always good here. That is going to be your go-to when they ask, oh, how is the brigadeiro, the little chocolate things, or how is the food? Thumbs up. How's the team? Thumbs up. Okay, that's good. This is bad. This is, hey, it's all good, man. Hang loose. You have those things. But the thing is, in the U.S., we use this sign for okay. Here, not necessarily this way. If you do it this way, this is actually worse than the middle finger in Brazil, okay? So don't do this. If you want to say something's good, you want to give the 2 thumbs up. And I've told this story many times. My first trip to Brazil, and some guy let us come in. I gave him the okay sign for a thank you. My friend reached across the car, slaps my hand down. I was like, dude, what are you trying to get us in trouble for? Because this, or this, actually is really bad here, okay? The middle finger still means the middle finger here too, but I think this one is actually worse. So do be aware of that when you come to Brazil. Now, some things you might see as a tourist in terms of the hand signs and stuff is maybe you're looking for a restaurant and you don't know if it's full or not, and you see them do this. If they kind of do this where it's all the fingers coming together, this means it's full. If they use both hands, it means it's like really, really full. Like, oh, going to the beach on New Year's Eve, oh man, it's really, really full there. Or the restaurant, hey, we're full, sorry. You'll just see those kind of things out there. That's one I've seen quite often when you're here. Another thing is you'll hear people snapping. And when they snap, it means a lot of stuff. It's like, oh, is there a lot of people at the beach? Some would say it's full. Some would, oh yeah, there's lots of people at the beach. And this one kind of comes with, when people are talking, it's like one of those unconscious ones that do, oh yeah, there's a lot of really good food here in Brazil. Like they snap saying it's a lot. Now, another thing you'll see is you'll see people rub their ear. That's like it's imagine it's like a diamond earring and they're rubbing that. That means something's really good. It's like, oh yeah, how's the food there? Oh man, it's really good. Oh, the stores? Oh yeah, the stores are really nice there. Like they got really good stuff. But it also can mean very expensive as well. So do be aware of what you're talking about when they do the little, ear rub kind of thing. Now, another important one is if you have misunderstandings when there and people don't understand you, there is the international, I don't know what I can do. Like this is one you'll see like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is kind of a normal thing. So if you're kind of confused and lost, they're trying to speak to you in Portuguese, just this will actually help you out. I know it seems silly, but some places that doesn't work. So the palms out kind of thing for the I don't know what the heck's going on, that can be helpful. And this is similar to another one of the Italian grandma, as people like to say it sometimes. This is the, what are you doing? Like, what is going on here? Okay, if you're kind of confused, not sure, you're like, what's going on? This is one you can use where you're pinching your fingers all together and just kind of shaking your hands like this. So you can go from what's going on here to literally, I don't care. Like if you have your hands going like this is like what, it's like you're washing your hands of anything. Like, I don't care about this. This means nothing to me. Yeah, I'm done with it, And so you'll see people do this where they're like, is this important to you? Nah, I don't care. Okay, so that's another one you'll see. Now, another one you might want to know to kind of shoo people away, you have this. This is like, go away. You just kind of like pop your fingers out. It's like, go away, go away. I know most people like, well, it's obvious it's go away, but here it's a specific thing. Like, just go away. You'll see people do that, especially if the beach or whatever, and you just want to like, you don't want the touts to bother you, or you're not, I don't need a beer, no, go, I'm good, thanks, bye. You'll see that one come often. Now, another one I think you should know when you come here, and this is one thing, is you might notice there's some relationship difficulties if people do this. This one here, this is corno. And corno means basically if you say, oh, Bob, this means Bob's girlfriend or boyfriend is cheating on him. So this corno means someone's cheating on that person, whoever you address it to. Not the person's actually doing the cheating, but you're like, oh, Bob, poor guy. Like, oh man, he's getting cheated on. So the horns, that's not a good sign. You don't want to hook the horns here, all right? That's not a good thing. Now, let's say you make a stupid mistake here. Like, you don't get beer that is bem geladinho, like really cold beer, because you really want to have really cold beer when you're here. And you're like, oh, I forgot to get beer that's already cold. You're going to the playa, the beach. Like, oh, I'm so stupid. So this, when you hit your head, that means stupid. Like, oh, I'm stupid. Or you can say, oh, he's, and you can point it for someone, but this is kind of stupid. Another one that's kind of funny, I see tourists learn about this one quite soon when they like want to meet somebody like, hey, you and me, when they rub their fingers together, that means people are together. Hey, are they together? Or those two should be together. You'll see that one. That's kind of like one of the ones there. You'll see, I'll do it this way so you can see the fingers going up and down, but it's actually pointed at the people like, oh, those, are they together? Or you do that. That's one that I used to see when I used to live here back pre-Jocelyn days. Like, Mark, that she would be, you two could go together well. It's kind of one of those fun things my Brazilian host mom used to say and do. So there is that. But the thing is, when you come here to Brazil, people are very expressive, okay? Because even if you don't speak Portuguese, they're still going to talk to you a lot and communicate with you. And knowing some of these things like, hey, good job, or I like it, this is going to go a long way to making your life a little bit easier when you're here and also help you read the situation to keep you safer and enjoy more time when you're here in Brazil. But there are some things that tourists do that they might not even realize they're doing that could upset the locals here in Brazil, because you don't want to do that, because the people here are awesome. And one of the things you might do that would kind of upset a local here is if you don't realize the hand signals here, because, you know, in the US you do this, it's like, hey, that's pretty good. In other places it could be death or whatever, but this or this in Brazil is actually worse than the middle finger. So anytime you want to say something is good, like, oh, the picanha is really good, no, always do this. Always give a thumbs up, okay? Because that's one way you don't even realize that you're actually insulting people when you use the wrong hand sign, okay? Now, another really famous way that you can upset Brazilians is actually comparing Brazil and Argentina, but you put it where Argentina is actually better. Like, oh, Buenos Aires, yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, they probably have better jobs than in Sao Paulo, and yeah, it's probably more cultural than like Rio or something. Oh, no, they're not going to like that. And if you say like Maradona is better than Pele, yeah, you might as well just start heading to the border, because that's not going to go over. Because they only really have this rivalry with Argentina. They don't have it with really any of the other countries in South America. It's just really Argentina is the one that kind of poke that really kind of gets them, especially when you're talking about soccer or football, okay? And I think another way you can really upset a Brazilian is if you don't show the deference and respect to the Seleção. The Seleção is the national football team, the national soccer team. You know, 5 World Cups, Pele was on there, Ronaldinho, o Gaúcho, o Fenomeno, Ronaldo. There have been so many great players from Brazil, and they love their national team. And if you diss the Seleção, that's not going to go over well. But there is one time you as a tourist can diss the Seleção, and that's when they crash out of a World Cup, because literally, once Brazil crashed out of the World Cup, all the locals like, damn, they suck, it's horrible. And everybody's like ripping stuff off the walls, like, let's just get rid of this World Cup. They're out, we don't care anymore. But that is one thing though, like leading up to the World Cup or any other kind, yeah, don't talk bad about the national team, okay? And actually, this football is life here in Brazil. And I think another thing that you kind of might upset people is if you're wearing the wrong jersey. So you're going to be in Sao Paulo. Now, any self-respecting person will be a fan of Tricolore, the Sao Paulo Football Club. You'll see it, SPFC. You'll see it around town. Tricolore, like that's the really great team that's there. But there's some other kind of teams that are like Corinthians and Palmeiras. And if you have the wrong shirt on, a Palmeiras fan might get upset with you having a Sao Paulo shirt. And a Sao Paulo fan might get upset with you the Corinthians shirt. So if you're going to get your hat, you know, your bonnet, you know, whatever from Sao Paulo team, or your jersey, I would wait to use that and wear that until you get back home. Because wearing it around town, that could be something that you might cause a little dust up that you probably don't want to happen. And the thing is, I said football is life here, but there is actually one thing that actually ranks above football when it comes to entertainment in Brazil, and that's the telenovelas. The novelas, you know, like the soap operas here. I mean, if you make someone miss the novelas, they're not going to be very happy with you. I mean, this is how important the novelas are here. They actually start the soccer matches after the novelas. Like, no, gotta watch novelas. Then soccer is allowed to be played, right? It's allowed to be shown. So make sure you're looking at your schedule when you're doing things. And speaking of schedule, that's another way you can upset your Brazilian friends. It's really showing up when they told you to be at their house. I know that sounds crazy. Like, dude, you told me to be here at 8. It's 8 o'clock. I'm here. Why are you just getting in the shower? Because in Brazil, when people say, hey, let's meet up at 8, that usually means we're going to meet up sometime around 10, because there is kind of a delay there. So as a tourist, if you actually come when they tell you to be there, like, oh, let's meet at 7, let's meet at 8, and you're actually at their house, that's not good. Like, honestly, when I lived here, if I'd say let's meet at 8, I would be getting into the shower at 8 o'clock to meet them at like 9:30, 10. So just remember, being on time isn't cool in social situations in Brazil. Now, another thing that really does upset the locals when you do come here is you really think that Brazil is just Rio and like the Amazon, and that's all that's there. It's like there's Christ the Redeemer and it goes straight into the Amazon rainforest. No. Rio is great. The Amazon is great, but there's so many more parts of Brazil. Going to the colonial cities in Minas Gerais, going to Pantanal, where you actually see more animals than you would in the Amazons. Going up to Recife and Olinda up in the northeast. There's so much more to this country than just Rio and the Amazon that you really have to understand why people get kind of upset. It's kind of like if you said to people in the U.S., oh, New York is, like, the U.S. is just New York and the Grand Canyon. There's nothing else there, right? No, there's so much more to it, okay? So don't be small-minded and think, oh, it's just Rio and the Amazon and that's it, okay? Now, another thing I think is really important for you to know is if you meet Brazilians, they will talk to you. They will get up and close and talk to you. But the thing is, they're going to share their opinions with you. Whether you think it's politically correct or not, they are going to share their opinions. And if you get upset with them sharing their opinions, they're not going to like that. Because the thing is, they want to share their opinions with you, just talk, this is what I think about things, and they want you to share back, okay? So if you don't share your opinions back, or you look down at them for sharing their opinions, that's one thing that locals are like, dude, I'm just sharing some stuff with you, I'm just talking, what's the problem? And speaking of talking to them, I think another way that you can kind of upset the locals is if you start busting out your junior high Spanish. Look, it's Brazil, they speak Portuguese. It is a different language than Spanish. Yes, there are some similarities, but it's different. So if you come here and start saying, hola, ¿cómo estás? Like, hey, tudo bem? That's what we say here. Everything good is tudo bem, all right? So just kind of stay away from the Spanish. I mean, you'll be able to read the menu if you speak Spanish, but try to do the Portuguese. You know, obrigado is thank you, por favor is please, hola is hello. So, yeah, you can see some similarities, but look, it's Portuguese here, not Spanish, so don't assume people understand you. And the thing is, one of the best parts of coming to Brazil is just how much fun the people are. And if you really want to kind of insult the locals here, just go be a... See? They're upset. And the thing is, when you come to Brazil, what you have to realize, the people are fantastic. They want to have a good time, and they want to have a good time with you. They want to sit and have some chopinhos, you know, some little beers with you. They want to have some cachaça with you, some pinga. They want to sit and chat and talk. Go to the rodizio to have all the meat ever. They want to have a good time. They want to dance. They want to sing. They want you to be with them. And if you upset a local, just go be a stick in the mud. You know, the people like, I don't want it. I don't dance. I'm not going to dance. I'm not going to have a drink. I'm not going to go to the pool. I'm not going to go to the beach. Oh, why are, you know, blah, blah, blah. Why is it more efficient here? What takes so long? Look, you have to realize this is the chill out kind of place. The people are really chilled out, and you need to chill out too. Because if you are that stick in the mud that's not going to go out and have fun, and you're not going to go do stuff, the locals here, you might not know it, but they're just going to kind of stop. They're going to basically ghost you, okay? So when they ask you to do something, go do stuff with them because they are so much fun, okay? And the thing is, I think it kind of goes along with this is one that I get really upset because I used to live in Brazil and I have family here, and I get upset when people really kind of think Brazil is some backwards, like, jungle country, like it's just Amazon and poverty, there's nothing else, and they come, and they're like, oh, we are so much better than you. We're from the United States, we're so much better. Or Europeans, oh, we're from the Netherlands, we're from Germany, we're so much better than you. Like, the people that look down on Brazilians, they don't like that. Nobody likes that. And I see that a lot with tourists when they come here, especially if I'm in Rio on the beaches and I see the tourists there getting their coconut water and stuff, and they're having their beers like, oh, well, la la la. Look, the people are fantastic. There's so much here. There's so much culture here, so many museums here, universities, research, amazing people that if you kind of put it in this like, oh, it's a poverty-stricken whatever, you're missing out. And I'm mad at you too, because that's not the way it is here in Brazil. It's a fantastic place. So don't be that stick in the mud, but also don't think Brazil is some like middle of the nowhere nothing. It's an amazing country with amazing food, amazing people, amazing just fun times you're going to have when you're here. And then I still remember the one time my roommate, I lived with a Brazilian for a couple of years, and the one time my roommate really, really got mad at me. This is what I want to warn you at, and that is when you don't let a Brazilian make your hot dog for you. Look, Brazilians, like, you know, like in the U.S., oh, people put some ketchup or mustard on there, or in Germany, they might just have mustard or plain, or someplace, oh, I might put a little sauerkraut, or maybe a little bread, like just a little bit of things. That doesn't work that way here. Here in Brazil, it's like a whole meal on top of the hot dog. Like, yes, you'll have your sauces, your molhos, you maybe put some ketchup or mustard or some relish, but then you're going to have some, like, you know, peas on there and some patata palha, some, like, potato strings on top as well. I mean, it's literally like you need two hands. You're like, okay, how am I going to get all this all in without ruining my clothes, all right? So, listen, if it's hot dog time, just let your local Brazilian friend make it for you, because otherwise they'll be like, what are you doing only putting ketchup on there? What is wrong with you? Because honestly, that was the one time one of my Brazilian friends really did get really mad at me. So,
and when you ask me my favorite country to go to in the world, it's right here in Brazil, in a place where there's so much stuff I love to do. There's some things you don't want to do. So today what we have for you are 10 things you don't do when you are in Brazil. And first things first, most important thing here is you don't drink warm beer in Brazil. You drink cerveja bem gelada, which means you drink really cold beer, okay? Now, I know if you're coming from Europe or the US, you're like, oh, our beer is cold. No, you don't understand. Here, the beer, when you get it, like you can almost make icicles in the bottom when you get a chopp, a glass of beer, a draft beer, or if you get one of the big bottles, the beer has to be ice cold. And if the beer isn't cold enough, you can actually send it back. So step number one, don't drink warm beer in Brazil, only ice cold beer, whether it's Brahma or Skol, which is not the best, but you know, it's one of those beers you gotta have when you are here. Now, the second don't I have for there is, you know, you want to say everything's okay? Well, don't use the okay sign here in Brazil, because this in Brazil is worse than the middle finger. It's really kind of calling into question a man's masculinity, and it's really a masculine society here, so don't use the okay sign here, okay? Use the thumbs up. Brazil, it's all about thumbs up, all right? So this bad, don't ever use it. I mean, I remember the first time I used it by accident. The guy I was driving with reached across the moving car in the highway, slapped my hand down and said, dude, what are you doing? Like, I told him it was okay, thanks for letting us pass. It's like, no, this is worse than the middle finger. I'm like, oh, okay, so thumbs up only here. Now, the third thing you don't want to do when you're here is don't expect things to happen super fast when you are in Brazil. You're gonna have to pack some patience when you come to Brazil. And the farther you kind of go north in the country, the more patience you're probably gonna need. So just know that don't expect things to happen quickly. They will happen eventually in good time, but don't expect things to happen quickly. So the fourth don't we have is don't expect a lot of English to be spoken here. I know people get always upset. Well, what do you expect people to speak English everywhere? No, I don't. And I don't expect that anywhere. I know when you go to another country, you need to know some of the other language. But a lot of times when you travel, like in Europe, people speak multiple languages. Here in Brazil, it's Portuguese, Portuguese, and Portuguese. So make sure you know a few words when you come. Obrigado is thank you. A conta is the bill, things like that. Because when you're going to like the backwoods like I'm at now, or even not that backwoods like Minas Gerais, where all the colonial like mining towns are, you might go to a hotel. They probably won't speak much English. But what's cool is, even if they don't speak English or Spanish or things like that, they will communicate with you and you will get by okay. But just don't expect a lot of English or English menus and things like that. Big tourist areas, you'll be okay. But if you're going to explore the real beauty of Brazil and getting in the backwoods and stuff like that, don't expect too much of that English out there, okay? Now, the fifth don't I have is don't trust the traffic lights, okay? Especially at night in the big cities, because what happens is people run the red lights at night. So you really got to pay attention. You may think, well, it's green for the crosswalk, so I should be fine. No, 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 no. I remember times in Rio, the only time the buses would slow down at night is when they were coming to a green light. And I asked the guy, I'm like, so why are you slowing down at green, but you blow through the red? Well, at the red, I know everyone else is slowing down because it's green, because they think people are going through the red. So I only pay attention at the green. I slow down and go through that in case someone else is running the red. I mean, it's crazy. But as a pedestrian, you really need to be careful here, because just because it says you can go doesn't mean you can go. So make sure you really do pay attention with that, okay? Number 6 has to do with the toilet, because you guys know I love my toilet important information. When you're going to the bathroom and you're going number 2, you want to make sure, can I throw the toilet paper down the toilet or not? You might see a little trash can by the toilet, and you want to ask your posada, if you stay at a small hotel or it's someone's house, hey, do I throw the toilet paper in the toilet or do I throw it in the little trash bag or the little bin next to the toilet? Because the pipes here can't always take it all. So make sure you ask about that. So don't just throw the TP in there. Also, another little don't of the shower. Don't be scared of the shower in the bathroom in case there's electrical cords going out, because they have electrical heating for the showers in a lot of places. So there's another don't for you, okay? Now, the 7th don't I have for you is don't pass up the local food. Look, here in Brazil, they have food you've never even heard of, fruit you've never even seen before. You have no idea. You're like, I can't translate this because I don't even know what it is. There's so much great stuff here, from the meats to the fish to the, the acarajé, which is like, I can't even explain some of these foods. Feijoada, which is a bean stew with parts of animals I won't tell you about because you won't want to eat it, but you should eat it. Fried bananas. I mean, there's so much pão de queijo. There's so much great food here. Don't get stuck going to kind of tourist restaurants. Go and explore. When you're in Minas Gerais, have the chicken cooked in its own blood. And when you're in Sao Paulo, go eat some of the international food that's there. And in Bahia, man, their food there is just crazy with the coconut and all kinds of stuff there. You have such wonderful food here. Don't pass it up, okay? Also, when you're drinking, hey, don't pass up the drinks either. The cachaça, the pinga, that's their spirit here. You want to mix it together with some lime and sugar and ice. And you got a caipirinha, the national kind of fancy drink of Brazil. Of course, you drink your beer like I said before. door, so you have that. Now the 8th don't I have for you is don't mess with the mosquitoes. I'm not kidding. I mean, I was in the Pantanal a few years ago, and I had my wristbands of anti-mosquito stuff, spraying myself with mosquito stuff, and I could literally see a ball of mosquitoes around me. The mosquitoes are not a joke here, but the thing is, if you come here in the US summer, European summer, and the winter, mosquitoes aren't so bad. But if you come in the summer when it's mosquito season here, oh man, they will bite you and they will get you. They'll sting you. Not fun, okay? So I do say don't mess around with mosquitoes. Make sure you're bringing some, whether it's anti-bite, or you've got some bug spray, or the bracelets to keep away the mosquitoes. You will need those when you're here, pretty much regardless of where you go in Brazil. Obviously, the more wetland it is, the more mosquitoes you're going to have. So be careful with that. Now, number 9 and 10, we're taking it to the beach right back over there, but I'll be a little more modest this way because it's on the internet, but the 9th thing you don't bring to Brazil is modesty, okay? Brazilians, they'll talk about anything. They'll joke about anything. They'll wear next to nothing at the beach. So you think, oh, I'm too fat, oh, I'm too skinny, oh, I'm too whatever. Don't worry about it. The Brazilians, they'll have the smallest bikinis and the little Speedos and stuff like that on, regardless of size, shape, and it's so fun because it's like liberating. I don't have to worry about people going body shaming. Hey, it's Brazil. We're all here to have a great time. So don't bring your modesty when you're here. Bring your love of life, because this place is great for it. And our 10th don't we have is also for the beach. When you go to the beach in Brazil, don't bring a beach towel. You don't sit on the beach with a beach towel. You sit with a canga, which is kind of like it's like thin like a sheet, and you lay that down and you sit on that. Yes, you're gonna have a towel to dry off, but you lay on your canga. You lay on this little thin sheet there, not a towel. That's why when you go to the beaches in Rio or Bahia and you're like, oh, I wonder where the tourists are. Oh, they're laying on a beach towel. Tourist, okay? I'm really getting upset because I keep seeing all these things online about how Brazil is so unsafe, and no one wants to go to the Olympics. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be a disaster. And so I thought I'd address the issue of, is Brazil safe? Look, don't get confused with is Brazil safe versus is Rio safe. These are two completely different ideas, because Brazil is a huge country, and just like in the US or Europe, you have a wide variety of good and bad and safe and not so safe. So yes, there are some parts of Brazil that aren't so safe. There are some things you shouldn't do. If you watch some of our videos, we actually have a whole video on how to dress and how to be safe when you are in Brazil, and this is more for the unsafe parts. You know what, Rio, you do need to pay attention. You don't walk around with diamond earrings and diamond necklace and wearing fancy stuff, because you make yourself a target. Just like you do when you go to Rome, you become a target there as well. It happens here too. Salvador, they've got issues here too. Our Brazilian taxi driver, when we were coming in from the airport, said, Mark, hey, don't go out at night, okay? Just stay in your hotel, do your things, but don't go on the back streets at night. Be smart about things. I'm like, well, I wouldn't do that anywhere else. And so you really got to realize this, Brazil is not as bad as they're trying to make it seem. So it's not like you walk off the plane, someone shoots you, and then while you're bleeding, all the mosquitoes come and suck all the blood out of you, and of course give you Zika and dengue and yellow fever and all those things. Look, there are issues here, but this place is not as horrible as they make it sound online. It's a wonderful place, and there's places that are super safe. Go to Minas Gerais, okay? Well, that's where the colonial towns are: Ouro Preto, Diamantina, São João del Rei, Tiradentes. You've got a lot of places you can go and feel pretty safe when you're there. Are there issues there? Yes, there are pickpocketing and stuff like that everywhere. But Brazil is not some kind of hardcore hell that people keep talking about online. What I will say is, you gotta be safe wherever you do go in Brazil. And be smart, okay? If you're going to be going to Rio, if you're going to be going to Sao Paulo, if you're going to the Olympics or whatever, you don't need to, look, I didn't bring my wedding ring when I'm here. I've had no problems. We're on week 3 here in Brazil. Honestly, I haven't had any issues where I felt unsafe at all, okay? I lived here for 7 months many years ago. I never got robbed. No one ever bothered me the entire time I was here, because I did what the locals said. Dress down, don't wear fancy stuff. You don't need to have your fancy phone out and things like that, because if you don't make yourself a target, it makes it a lot easier. Now, having said that, people will rob you. It does happen, but that happens anywhere you go. So just be smart when you're traveling. Go check out our video on dressing and safety advice in Brazil. That will help you out. But just know, if you're coming to Brazil, to visit Brazil, there are fantastic places. And when you leave the big cities like Rio and Sao Paulo and Salvador, and you get back the Pantanal or the Amazonas or Minas Gerais, these back parts of Brazil, these people, they're like, wow, you're here to help us. You're bringing money into our economy. They're looking out for you, and they're going to give you advice, and you're going to be a lot safer. And what's cool is that people really take you in some of these back parts of Brazil. And so make sure you get out of just going to Rio or just going to Sao Paulo. Go explore more, because it gets safer, and the people get even more friendly, and the people in Brazil and everywhere you go are really great. So that's one thing I get really upset by, is because it makes it sound like every Brazilian is a bandit that's trying to rob you, steal you, cheat you. Yes, sometimes the taxi drivers, they might try to do that. That's why they have Uber here. Uber? Yes, Uber. You know, the thing on your phone, the guy comes, picks you up. Yes, they have Uber here. When you're flying into one of the big airports, when you're getting your luggage, you're going to see taxi stands in the baggage claim. Go there, you can pay them directly, and they'll give you a coupon. Then you walk out of the thing, and they'll tell you where to go. You walk out, you find the taxi line, you find the one that'll take your coupon. They say, okay, they take you to a hotel. No problems. It's already prepaid, all taken care of. No going around, you know, the statues of the sites 9 times before they find your hotel, okay? There's simple things you can do to make it safer. I love Brazil. I lived here. Obviously, I am biased and very pro-Brazilian. And that's saying something. So I went to school in Argentina, and they're taught not to like the Brazilians at all, but somehow I still love it here. Look, be safe, be smart, use the same criteria you would anywhere in the world. And don't just think that everyone's trying to get you here in Brazil, all right? Now, good luck, have fun. Brazil's a fantastic place to go, but honestly, if you are going to go to Rio or Salvador or some of these places, you do really need to pay attention. Watch the videos that we have on safety in Brazil in terms of, you know, what to wear, what not to wear, how to walk, how to act, you know, these kind of things. They will make a difference in some of those bad parts. And the good parts, like the Minas Gerais, it doesn't matter. You can wear whatever you want, have a great time, take tons of pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff, and you'll love every minute of it. Anyway, that's just my little, 2 cents about Brazil and safety, and how I'm really getting tired of hearing this NBA player is not coming to Brazil because Zika's going to get them, and the crime and stuff like this. Dude, there's crime everywhere. It's not something that just happens in Brazil. Is when you come to Brazil, you're going to be snacking a lot. Like Brazilians, yes, you can get your feijoada, the bean stew stuff, and you can have the rodizio with all the picanha and the beef and have those big meals. But honestly, sitting around having beers with your friend and just eating small snacks is one of the best parts of coming to Brazil. You're just like hanging out on the side of the road with a plastic table, sitting in plastic chairs, having a beer, eating a salgado, the salty treats that are here. So good. So I want to give you those snacks that you're going to love when you come here to Brazil. And probably the most popular one you're going to see, whether you're at a lanchette, like a little cafe, you're at a restaurant, heck, it might be at your hotel, they might have them for you, is pão de queijo. And pão de queijo is just cheese bread, or think about cheese balls. And what it is made with tapioca flour and cheese, and it's just a little ball of wonderfulness. Like, sometimes it'll be small, sometimes it'll be big, but what's nice, if you got gluten-free people on there, it's gluten-free because it's made with tapioca flour. The thing is, the pão de queijo, it's so popular, you can get it outside of Brazil as well. So that's one of those things on you can definitely get at your local grocery store, or maybe one of the bigger grocery stores, because pão de queijo, oh, it's so good when you're here. Now, the second snack on our list is coxinha de frango. And what the coxinha de frango is think about it as a chicken ball. And it's got like shredded chicken with some spices inside, and then it's put inside basically mashed potatoes and this kind of creamy cheese kind of stuff, and then they fry it, and it looks like a teardrop, but you're going to be having tears of happiness because they taste so good. They fry it up for you and you eat it, and what I would recommend is take a bite off the top, get some hot sauce, put it in for each bite. Oh my gosh, coxinha de frango, a definite must. Now, the third snack I have for you is an empada. And empadas, that's Liam's favorite one, okay? What empada is imagine a really tiny pot pie, or a pie from England. It's kind of like that. And inside you might have chicken, or you might have carne seca, or you might have dried meats in there. There's different stuff that goes in there. It's put with some like creamy cheese in there, and it's so good. It could be small, it could be bigger, but that's another good one. Like those three right there, the pão de queijo, coxinha de frango, and empada, that's the go-to ones. Like, that's the one you're probably going to have the best chance of finding all throughout Brazil because they're so good, and you're having that with your beers, okay? But the thing is, there's other snacks out there too. One is called quibe, and quibe, it's a Middle Eastern snack. You've probably seen it before. And what it is like wheat, mixed together with some ground beef, and it looks like kind of like a football, and they deep fry it. Now, my Brazilian host father likes to eat them raw, which I do not recommend because, oh, gross. but they are a really nice little snack that's here that you can get when you are going around, and it is becoming more and more popular, so you're seeing it more places. Now, another Brazilian snack you probably see back home in the health food aisle or the internet saying this superfood will save your life is acai. And acai, when you eat it, I mean, it's a little purple berry, okay? But when you eat it, it looks like purple sludge. Because what they do is they freeze it and they grind it up, and then usually you put like some granola on there and some banana, and it's like super healthy. I mean, it's really super healthy, makes for a great breakfast. That's why it's like everywhere in the world now. But acai here in Brazil, where it's from, oh, so good. You'll see it in little kiosks on the side of the road. Grab some for a nice like pick-me-up and get on your way.
When it comes to snacks in Brazil, they love their hot dogs. And you don't just get a plain hot dog here. You get a hot dog with all kinds of stuff on it. So if you don't have 300 different ingredients on your hot dog in Brazil, you're not eating it right. So looking for a snack? Hot dogs, long, tasty, and full of stuff. All right? So you have the meat on the stick kind of stuff. You have all kinds of good stuff. Maybe you want to get some garlic bread, you can do that. You get beef, you can get linguiça, you know, the sausages that are here, they're fantastic. We've got the pancetta, oh my gosh, you little pork belly, can't go wrong. So anytime you see these, the meat things here, and you got a nice respectable place like this, you're gonna do good because it's just meat and flavorful and wonderful. So that's a snack you gotta have, okay? No matter where you are in South America, meat on a stick, you can't go wrong.
Now, another snack you might see some places, and you don't see this one everywhere, okay? It's called tapioca. And no, I'm not talking about tapioca, you know, the tapioca pudding you had as a kid. No. This, they take tapioca flour and make a pancake out of it, and they put a different filling in there. It could be meats, it could be cheeses. I like condensed milk. Yes, condensed milk. And they fold it over, and it makes it kind of like a white-looking taco-y kind of thing, you know, like folded over, turnover, but made with tapioca flour. So again, it's gluten-free for my gluten-free friends, so you can have that. I've seen it a lot of times up in the Northeast on the beaches. A lot of people have that there, so that's a really nice thing to have. Now, another thing is really important. You have to realize here in Brazil, fruits are a thing. Like, there's so many great fruits you're gonna have when you're here, and you want to have that. So sometimes you're just having papaya or melon or strawberries or bananas. I mean, there's so many different fruits that are here. You can have it in a vitaminas, which is like a smoothie for a snack, or you can just eat the fruit itself. I mean, one of my favorite things, my Brazilian mother, who I stayed with, my host mother who's passed away, one of her favorite things to make me for breakfast, she would take a avocado, and it was like this big. She'd cut it in half, take out the stone, and then she'd cut it up, smash it up. She put lemon juice and sugar in there. Yeah, sugar and lime on the avocado, and just, oh my God, it was so good. But we would just have that. You know, and you have all these really great foods here. Guava, you can have guava here. There's one that's called Romeo and Julieta, or Romeo and Juliet, which is basically it's guava paste, okay, a goiaba paste, and then it has queijo mineiro, this soft white cheese from the Minas region. Oh my God, that is a really good one. You see a lot of places. Actually, sometimes you'll get that in a pastel, or some people put it in tapioca. So what a pastel is basically it's a deep fried turnover. And there's different stuff you can put inside. So you might have Romeo and Juliet where they put the cheese and the goiaba in there, the guava in there, which is really good, like fruity stuff. But also you can have meaty stuff. Like Liam loves calabresa and cheese, so like ham and cheese or sausage and cheese. He likes that in there. I had camarão with shrimp in there. It's so good. But my favorite, it's hard to find, is pastel de siri, which is the pastels with crab in it. Oh, that is so good, okay? Now, I want to go back to this queijo mineiro. So there's soft cheese, this queijo mineiro, this white cheese is popular like all over the country. And the thing is, though, if you can get it, my personal favorite, it's not the goiaba, not the guava and the queijo mineiro. It's queijo mineiro con doce de abóbora. So it's the Minas cheese with basically pumpkin jam. Oh my God, it is to die for. If you're in Minas Gerais, one of the states like north of Sao Paulo, you gotta have it. Like, you have to have it. Like, that is one of my favorite snacks I have in Brazil. My host mom used to, like, I'd come home from class, she'd be like, here you go. I'm like, thank you, because it was so good.
It's salty and sweet. It's got that perfect thing in the middle. Yeah, that taste. Sick?
Cadê a Mafalda que não tá?
This is your mother's? Yeah.
Né? Cadê a Mafalda que não tá latindo o passarinho? Porque agora ela ficou famosa, né?
Oh, God, this is good.
Now, if you're looking for something a little more meaty when you're eating with your friends and having some drinks, you could have linguiça, which is a sausage. And one of the ones I like is cut it up for you and like the slices and some onions, and they light it on fire for you to like cook it right there. And some come pre-cooked when you have it, but linguiça is always a nice kind of like, I want something meaty. I don't want the carbs or whatever. So that's a nice little thing to do. Another snack you might find, especially if you're in like, it's from Bahia. Okay, this is one thing. It's called acarajé. So basically what acarajé is, when you the main part of it is this bean paste dumpling. It looks like a big, like kind of brown baked potato thing, and it's bean paste and it's fried in dende oil. Oh my God, it's so good. And they cut it down the middle and they put vatapá, which is basically like Brazilian like Thanksgiving dressing, but it's got like bread in it and shrimp all kind of smushed together, and then the palma is so good, and it's just so good. And you have that in there, and they put dried shrimp on top, and then you eat it kind of like a taco, I guess. But what's cool is to really be a acarajé, people have to be dressed in traditional Bahian wear, so that's kind of a cool thing to see. You'll be at like Imbu in Sao Paulo. You're like, hey, that's where I can get it because I can see from the outfits. Now, my Brazilian mom's favorite snack, though, was bolinha de bacalhau, and this is a codfish cake. So basically, they take dried cod, kind of wetting it and getting it up again. They fry it up with some batter in there, and you have these balls of codfish kind of in dough together. That's something really nice that she loved. I know I had to say that for her when we were here. And probably the most important sweet snack you should have when you come to Brazil is brigadeiro. And what brigadeiro is, it's chocolate made with condensed milk. So it's very like gooey, like it holds into a ball, but it's very, very soft, but it is incredible. And they'll make these little balls of it, and you'll see like sprinkles smushed into it. Believe me, you'll see it at the cafes. You'll see it all over the place. So the brigadeiro is something you should really have. And sometimes they have bolo de brigadeiro, which is a slice of brigadeiro cake. Oh my God, it's so good, okay? So